Minta maaf ya.
Good morning, everyone. Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Yes, yes, can Doctor.
Yes, I can hear you.
Clear.
Okay, my name is Nur Afifi. I'm a master student from FTK. I will be your science and technology moderator. Thank you for all judges and participants. Without wasting any time, let us begin with first candidate.
I want to tell you a true story, not someone's imagination. Over the course of a century, Malaysian police officers were killed during duty, mainly caused by firearms. In 2007, 3 police officers in the Plain Province were killed during an anti-drug ambush. They were severely wounded on the chest and stomach. If police officers wear body armor, perhaps such tragedy could be prevented, or at least the damage could be reduced. Can you guess the cause of body armor insufficiency for our police force? The main reason is, yes, high cost. Body armor is made from high-strength plastic material such as Kevlar, which are very expensive. Moreover, body armor is heavy because it is built up with many layers of fibers ranging from 20 to 50 layers. So this problem becomes a drive to the advancement of body armor. Research has been done on various materials to produce a low-cost and lightweight body armor. My choice: still mineral water, plastic bottle, and soda in plastic bottle. The recycled plastic bottles have been proven to have an outstanding performance because it has been used widely to reinforce the construction material, used to make industrial road, and built into a mat to make the body of the boat and soil reinforcement. So, to reduce the use of the expensive Kevlar, in my PhD study, I collect the plastic bottle waste and cut them into a non-continuous strip and turn it into a mat. I fabricate a hybrid composite that consists of the recycled plastic bottle mat and Kevlar fabric that arranged alternately and bonded together using silicone rubber, as you can see in the picture. The quasi-static penetration test that I have conducted shows that my hybrid composite has a comparable performance with those composites of food Kevlar fabric. My composite had reduced the use of Kevlar and had a good potential to go further for body armor application by adding more layers. Furthermore, Royal Malaysian Police has said to consider using Malaysian-made body armor if achieving the standard and specification. On a side note, using recycled material for high-end application will uplift the value of the waste and generate economy for recycled products. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Nurul Zakia, for the video presentation. So I open to everyone if you have any questions.
Shall I start?
Yeah.
I don't have any question, Nurul. I actually have some suggestions for you. It was a very clear. I think it was a very clear and well articulated presentation. right? And just a few points that you may want to take into consideration to make what you're saying in the 3 minutes more impactful. Number one, I thought that instead of focusing just on the police, in your example, maybe you want to say the enforcement authorities. Do we say that the enforcement? So it includes the police, the military, even the, I don't know, whoever else, right? That's one. Number two, when you open up your story, from past years, we saw that the people who won always tell a sobby story. They tell a sobby story as in a story that touches people's heart. I think not so long ago, there was a policeman that was on active duty, was shot dead. So things like that, so people can relate. It's like, imagine if that is your relative, that is your cousin, your brother or dad who is on duty and was shot dead for nothing. It's like just maybe a routine check, a roadblock, things like that, and it's a bad guy, wind down the windows and pump, just that's it. So things like that. So if you start by telling a story like this with a straight face, then the audience will be captured. That is maybe one thing you want to do. And then you were talking about towards the end, the research has shown that your effort pays off, right? You are still using Kevlar, am I right? But you're reducing the amount of Kevlar that you use. Good. So instead of saying that we reduce the usage of Kevlar, which is nice on the paper but not impactful enough in the short three minutes presentation, you may want to say along the lines of we are greening the armor, the body armor, while still maintaining or giving better performance or better protection of things like that. Can you see the difference of it? Saying that I reduce the usage of Kevlar and comparing to a statement that says I'm greening the production of these the body armor with better performance or equally good performance. Can you see that? And highlight the point that this is made in Malaysia because Kevlar is imported, right?
Yes.
You got it? Yep.
Most of the body armor is imported.
Exactly. Good. Thank you. That's all from me.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right.
Okay. Any other questions? Nurul, I have a question. The testing part of your body armor and the standard body armor, did you say what is the difference? The percentage of the effectiveness between that two?
Okay, the quasi-static penetration test is usually done to avoid the experimental work yang banyak. So most research has said that the quasi-static penetration has shows a similar trend to the ballistic testing. So that's the relevance of the quasi-static penetration test.
Okay. Is there any percentage the effectiveness of your product compared to the currently used?
Oh, for now, I'm not. My study has not done the ballistic testing yet. But have a potential after doing the quasi-static ballistic quasi-static penetration test. The result shows my hybrid composite had reduced the use of the Kevlar, and I emphasize the reducing of Kevlar, not the sustainability, because the major objective of my research is to reduce to overcome the problem of the body armor production, which is heavy and high cost. The sustainability is just a side note or maybe added value for my body armor. But yes, I agree to Dr. Sid before that, to emphasize the sustainability might give more impact.
Thank you.
All right. I got one question for you. So
Yeah.
you produce your product, right? Your product, your body armor.
Yes.
Have you registered any intellectual property for your product?
Yeah. For now, so far, we have. I have. Actually, our team have registered one intellectual properties, the copyright, but I don't remember the copyright number. But we have.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
I have, I think, one or two questions.
Yeah,
Right.
I beg your pardon.
You mentioned that the armor, the issue about the armor, current armor is related to the weight.
and also the cost.
Mhm.
Now, and then you haven't actually contextualized it into in terms of heavy and cost. Is it in Malaysia that you're using heavy armor, or is it worldwide that you're using
Um,
the other police in other countries also are using the same material?
Oh, actually, there are various material, but the popular one is the Kevlar because other material have some issues. So body armor is produced using Kevlar, but the Kevlar is very expensive because the process of manufacturing. And I focusing Malaysian because the cases insufficiency of body armor is related to the high cost. If we read some news currently waktu Mutakhir ni lah, the police issues, they want more body armor because they had to wear body armor only in high risk prevention operation, not any operation that might turn into a dangerous state, you know. Maybe as I shows the example earlier in my video that 3 policemen were killed and anti-drug ambush. Pada mulanya mereka anggap the anti-drug ambush is just not a high risk crime operation, but later the situation had changed because the criminals have a gun and shot them dead. So specifically adalah Malaysia lah problem of low cost cost because one body armor take to 5,100 that body armor yang boleh resist the shotgun penetration. It costs 5,000 ringgit. So to supply for all policemen during duty, it's quite expensive and budget lah, a lot of budget.
Okay, so basically what you are saying about the incidents, all those things are in Malaysian context. So we have to
Yes.
So the use of Kevlar as the material, is that worldwide or is it in Malaysia body armor?
Okay, Malaysian had not produced yet a commercialized body armor, but there are research. The high cost material of Kevlar is worldwide problem, but I focusing on the insufficiency of the body armor in Malaysian.
I have a question. Nurul, you mentioned shotgun repeatedly. Are you specifying a typical gun?
Actually,
yes
okay, a shotgun.
Yes or no? Yes or no? Are you specifying a gun? Yes or no? Just yes or no?
Yes, but but it's a long explanation because the type body armor is depend on various arm. So for example, there are 5 level of body armor, 5 of level protection of body armor. For police.
Just a minute. Just a minute. I'm sorry. I don't mean we are all very interested in your research.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay. We are certain that you know your subject matter and all. It's just that this is a 3MT competition. There will be no Q&A.
Okay.
There will be no Q. There will be Q&A, but there won't be. How do I put it? Okay. All right. There will be Q&A, but I don't have that much of time to elaborate that long. So what I'm trying to say here is that I'm picking up on the shotgun thing you're saying. So I imagine that you pick up shotgun because it's one of the most deadliest weapon around, and the impact of it. You say a shotgun. There are so many other guns around, but you pick up shotgun. All right. So what I'm trying to say here is that if shotgun is not the deadliest, you may want to pick up the one that is deadliest and use that as the first sentence. Mukadimahnya sebutkan the cerita yang sangat impactful tu, yang story tu. You remember? Don't know when some policemen gonna shot dead just because the armor wasn't working or there was no armor. All right. Then you mungkin kaitkan sebab it's so expensive. We can't be arming all policemen or all officers on duty with a Kevlar suit. All right. And then you go on talk about imagine, or you can start out the story by telling people, imagine being shot by I don't know how many pounds of, when people can imagine that, you say being shot by a gun, I can't imagine being shot by a gun. You get what I mean? But if you tell me that being shot by something that create such an impact that you actually push you backwards, or you create such a big hole. There are these bullets that come in, a small hole exit a big wound. They actually spread
big diameter.
things like that. So exactly. So as I said, from our experience in the past, those who end up emerge the champions of 3MTs are always the ones that the first few lines they remember capture the audience pay attention with a story on some impactful. So in your case, because you raise the thing about the weapon, so I just thought that what is if we just got police officer, enforcement officers doing their duties, we don't have enough Kevlar suits, the Kevlar is so heavy and all that, it's not impactful enough. It's not impactful enough, but it's not a technical. Imagine being pumped by I don't know 10 I don't know what kind of thing. Stuff like that.
Yeah, okay. I think in terms of the suggestions, we can give to her later.
Okay.
Please focus more on the creative.
Right.
Right. Okay, any more questions? No? All right, thank you very much, Nurul.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Nurul Zakia, you can lead the meeting and we are straight on the
5 to 10 minutes.
5 minutes.
5 to 10 minutes. Ini YouTube dia dengar kan kita punya discussion ni. Siapa saya boleh dengar? Okay, so okay. Alright, next one.
What is that? Order to 9 minutes.
Huh?
9 minutes. Enough.
Should be Danish.
They enjoying it.
Good Danish.
Terkeluar ke?
dia boleh dengar singing clearly because the mic is
Too near to me.
yeah.
Mute it. Boleh.
Ya, apa tu? Moderator cakap tak dengar pula you. Dia tak ada eh? Oh, we go to the next one. Just go on with Rabiatul Ajami. Rabiatul. Assalamualaikum, Rabiatul.
Hello, testing. Is it my turn now?
Can you start first?
Yeah, sure, no problem. Is my voice clear?
Very clear.
Alright,
Yeah, I will share your video first.
okay.
Here's the thing about gold. It is not always clear. And I'm talking about gold nanoparticles, which means gold in very small size, in nano size, ranging from 1 to 100 nanometers. If you want to compare between 1 liter and 1 millimeter, it's like comparing the size of the earth to the size of one coin. It's really small. And when things get smaller, they have more unique properties. Like gold in nanosize, for example, it is red in color and it is extremely reactive, making it very useful in various applications. These include electronic application, catalysis application, and biomedical application, where it can be used to detect the location of tumor inside the body and also to cure cancer. So gold nanoparticles can deliver drug straight to the location of the tumor, or it can kill the cancer cells by heat treatment with the help of infrared radiation. So, if we want to use these gold nanoparticles in biomedical application, we have to make sure that they are safe and non-toxic. However, the conventional method of producing gold nanoparticles involve the usage of toxic chemicals such as sodium borohydride and hydrazine that is used to stabilize the gold nanoparticles. Therefore, in my study, I replaced the toxic chemicals with natural ingredients. I actually add honey to the gold precursor to reduce the size of gold into nano size. And then I add ginger as the stabilizing agent to stabilize the gold nanoparticle in a colloidal suspension. This is important to make sure that the gold nanoparticles are stable and have longer shelf life so that it is easier to be applied in various applications. So, the findings from this research show that the gold nanoparticles synthesized from this method, they are actually red in color and they have spherical shape with average diameter of 14 nanometer. They also have very good antioxidant activity, radical scavenging activity, and catalytic activity. So this study suggests that with honey and ginger, we are one step closer towards producing stable, safe, and environmental friendly gold nanoparticles that can be used in catalytic application, such as to be pathology or producing new material, and also in biomedical application where maybe it can be used in cancer treatment. And this study is also as a reminder that gold is not always yellow. Thank you.
Alright, thank you, Rabiatul. Thank you for the video presentation. So now we'll open for the Q&A session. Okay, anyone?
Okay, I have one question. Well done, Ariato. It was an interesting presentation.
Thank you.
Yeah, okay. Right. Just one question. You were saying that you are using this honey and ginger to stabilize your goat for biomedic applications. My question really is, what exactly, what is the current practice to stabilize this goat for such purposes, and what is the wow factor of your research product compared to the existing ones in the market? Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Doctor, for your question. Okay, so currently, the gold nanoparticles that are available commercially, that are being used in biomedical application and also for research and development, they are currently developed using harsh or toxic chemicals such as sodium borohydride and also hydrazine. And these compounds are actually considered as carcinogenic. So logically, if we want to use something for biomedical application, that means to use it inside our body, we have to make sure that it is non-toxic and it is safe for our consumption. So therefore, in my study, instead of using harsh and toxic chemicals, I replace the chemicals with natural ingredients, honey. So honey actually, the main component of honey is fructose. So fructose is a type of sugar or monosaccharide, and it is considered as the strong reducing sugar. So it is able to reduce the gold salt or the gold 3 plus ion into gold nanoparticles without having to rely on the toxic chemicals. So this not only produce safe, non-toxic gold nanoparticles, but this will also help us to reduce the cost of producing gold nanoparticles. So that is the wow factor in my research, where we replace the toxic chemicals by using natural ingredients, honey and ginger, which is literally edible. So if it is edible or it can be consumed, which means it should be safe to use for biomedical application. I hope that clears the question.
Thank you.
Okay, one question from me. Do other nanoparticles research use this kind of natural ingredients?
All right.
Where do you get that idea at this stage?
Okay, thank you for the question. Okay, so far, in these recent years, actually it is projected that the usage or the current usage of gold nanoparticles for biomedical application is increasing. It is actually the most biggest application of gold nanoparticles is in biomedical application compared to electronic and catalytic application. So because gold nanoparticles is important, or it is actually able to help us to cure cancer. So more research right now are focusing on how to produce green gold nanoparticles. So of course, there are a lot of other researchers also using natural ingredients. But in my study, we are using the ingredients that are locally sourced. Like the ginger that I'm using, it is actually bentong ginger. So it is actually available in our country, and we are also trying to uplift the natural product in our country. And also what makes my product different from the other researchers is in terms of the activity or the potential of the gold nanoparticles itself. So my gold nanoparticles, most important thing in nanomaterial is the shape and size or the morphology. So my gold nanoparticles has average diameter of 14 nanometer, 1,4. So it's literally very, very small. So when it becomes very small, it means that it has a larger surface area. So it has a larger surface to volume ratio. So for example, if you want to inject the gold nanoparticles inside the body to deliver drug, you only need a very small volume of gold nanoparticles, but we have a very large surface area. So this is what makes my gold nanoparticles different in terms of the size and the effectivity in the catalytic activity and radical scavenging activity. I can explain further if you want about the radical scavenging.
Okay, but thank you. I think I guess the question here is like why ginger and honey?
Yes.
Why?
Okay. Okay, thank you.
I didn't know.
Okay, so actually the idea comes from this one research. It actually dates back about like 5 years ago. So this researcher, she is using honey to replace the reducing agent in the product in the production of gold nanoparticles. So she is able to produce gold nanoparticles by using honey. However, in my research, using honey is not enough to stabilize the gold nanoparticles, all right? Because ginger, it has bioactive compounds. So bioactive compounds means the chemicals that are found in fruits or plants or food that is able to give us health benefit. So the bioactive compounds in ginger, such as flavonoids or gingerol, this is able to cap or to how do we say it stops the growth of the gold nanoparticles, so they are not going to agglomerate or become cluster with the other gold nanoparticles. So this makes the gold nanoparticles stay in its size and it is stabilized, so it will have a longer shelf life compared to when using only honey. And as I said, I use ginger because ginger is it has a lot of antioxidant content. So we know that cancer is caused by the action of free radicals inside our body, and antioxidant is important to neutralize these free radicals. So that is why we are choosing ginger and to complement the honey in the production of gold nanoparticles.
Okay, thank you.
So I got one question for you.
Yes.
I just wonder, have you done any clinical tests or experiment with the medical center, with any medical center?
Sorry, can you repeat? It's quite not clear.
Have you done any clinical tests or experiment with the medical center or any organization within your research?
Okay, so far we haven't done that, but we have done a preliminary test on the radical scavenging activity. So this activity shows that the gold nanoparticles is able to neutralize the free radicals inside the material. So it means that it has the potential to be applied in biomedical application. But of course, we will do this in further project for our study. Yeah.
Right, any more questions? No? All right, thank you very much, Rabiato. Thank you for the sharing the information with us. Thank you.
All right. You can visit my YouTube, Gadis Nano, if you have further questions. Bye-bye.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hand lotion.
Air tadi aku pun nak post tu.
Saya nak kena cabut satu punya plug sebab saya punya laptop dah mati. Boleh. So,
Okay. Ini yang apa tu?
Tapi
Tapi dah
tulis dah.
Judging criteria.
Video berapa lama ni? Semua bawah 3 minit.
3 minit.
3 minit. Okey, setakat ni.
Okay.
Hello, Dennis.
Hello, doctor. Can you hear me, doctor?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Good morning, all.
Highway services is considered as one of the most important public transportation in the world. Highway services has evolved from steam-based to diesel and now to electricity. Do you know that traction transformer is one of the most important electrical components in any electrical train? Its function is to reduce the voltage received from the substation, and this produces a lot of heat. So transformer oil is used as a cooling liquid to transport heat from the traction transformer to the surroundings. The performance of the transformer oil is solely based on the cooling properties or the thermal properties, mainly emphasizing on the thermal conductivity. In other words, better thermal conductivity, better cooling properties. Anyhow, based on literature survey and industrial data, it can be found that the thermal conductivity value of transformer oil decreases faster than expected. This is where researchers come with a novel approach whereby they try to modify or increase the thermal conductivity value of transformer oil by adding single nanoparticles. But there's a catch with this method whereby they have to add more and more single nanoparticles in order to get an optimal increment. And this leads to a lot of issues, especially increment in viscosity. I came up with my own approach, which is the main idea of my research, whereby I used hybrid nanoparticles method. Hybrid nanoparticles is actually a mixture of two or more nanoparticles in the same transformer oil. So what I did was I collected oil samples from the electric train, formulated 98 samples of transformer oil with single nanoparticles and hybrid nanoparticles. The result was amazing. Transformer oil with the hybrid nanoparticles presented good stability, no sedimentation even after weeks, and at the same time presented very good increment in thermal conductivity up to 40%, even with a very low quantity if compared to single nanoparticles. With this, it shows that my approach by using hybrid nanoparticles can actually enhance and improve the thermal conductivity of the transformer oil with very low quantity without jeopardizing the industrial standard of railway. And with this, railway industry can save a lot of money by reducing the frequency of new oil changes, at the same time prolonging the lifespan of the transformer oil. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Dinesh, for the video presentation. So now
Yes,
I
doctor.
open for the Q&A session.
Okay,
Anyone?
doctor.
I start. Okay, right. Well done, Dinesh, for the video, the recorded video. Just
Thank you,
one quick.
doctor.
What would you say is the biggest contribution of your research output?
Okay, my actually, doctor, thank you for the question. Actually, my research, my PhD research is actually based on the real industry problem faced by the ERL KLA Express. So this project is actually given to me and my supervisor, Prof. Khalid, in order to solve their current issue, which is their transformer oil is getting the frequency of changing the transformer oil is very high, meaning even though transformer oil, the life expectancy, it should be up to 40 years, but they have to change it within 20 years, they have to change to new oil. So meaning the thermal conductivity value, we have found out, initially they don't know what is the problem. So they gave the task to us. So I took it as my PhD research. So I found out that actually they don't know that the thermal properties of the oil is actually decreasing faster because of because the voltage of the traction transformer increases and decreases very fast in the train. So one of the approach that actually being used is using the hybrid nanoparticles to actually increase, because if I use more nanoparticles, it will actually disturb the industrial standard. So the contributions toward them is with this approach, I can actually extend their lifespan of the transformer oil. Meaning, if the transformer oil is expected to reach up to 40 years, and now current practice is they just use up to 17 to 18 years and they have to change to new oil. So with my approach, I can expand prolong the lifespan of the existing transformer oil up to maybe 30 years or 35 years. So this actually gives a lot of impact, especially saves a lot of financial expenses to the railway industry. At the same time, this is actually a new breakthrough in terms of the collaboration of nanotechnology and also railway industry, which I presented this data to them, and they are actually very pleased with the founding, and a lot of journal papers and copyright were actually published based on these findings. Thanks, Doctor.
Okay, Dinesh, I have one or two questions. Now, you mentioned that they have to change the transformer oil every 20 years. So what is actually the impact of having to change every 20 years, apart from cost?
Okay. Can I answer, Doctor?
Yeah.
Okay. Actually, Doctor, we take one train. One train will have two traction transformer on the in front head and also the back head of the train. So each transformer consumes almost 700 to 800 liters of transformer oil. So 1 barrel of transformer oil is almost around 220 liters, and 1 barrel itself costs around 3,000 ringgit. So if they have to change new oil of one single traction transformer, which is up to 800 liters, so if 1 barrel is 200 liters, which is around 3,000 ringgit, so times 4, meaning they have to change to a newer transformer oil, which costs them around 10 to 12,000 ringgit. Whereas the same oil, they can use that same oil up to 30 to 40 years. But even before 20 years, because KLI Express ERL, their just operating years is less than 20 years. But even before reaching 20 years, they need to change to new oil. So their expenses is very high. So that's why this actually impacts them because we attended the meeting with them. So they say that changing to this a new frequency, high frequency of changing to new oil is actually giving them very high maintenance expenses. So they actually asked us how to solve this problem, because even the problem arises whereby when electric train, the fluctuating of voltage is very high, because the train goes fast, suddenly stops, goes high, goes fast, stops, and goes fast. So this movement, the rapid movement, going fast and stops, going fast and stop, actually deteriorate the thermal properties of the traction transformer, which they thought actually it is actually the problem of the electric properties. They didn't think about the thermal properties. So when I presented, I said to them, your electric properties is not an issue. Actually, the problem is about thermal properties. So we presented after a lot of analysis, specific heat analysis, and also thermal conductivity analysis. So they got the idea and they actually accepted that actually, yeah, they didn't concentrate on the thermal properties. So this finding, actually, they were very happy with this finding actually. So they asked us to go ahead and produce them with the last findings.
Okay, how much testing have you done to say that your transformer oil can go up to 30 to 40 years? How much?
This is how much?
How much testing have you done to say that your transformer oil can go up to 30 to 40 years?
Okay. Okay. The existing one, the one without the nanoparticles, this is actually data from the manufacturer of the oil itself, whereby I am using Shell type. The manufacturer of this oil is from Shell, Shell Sdn Bhd. So their data is their oil is to be said can last from 30 to 40 years. Okay, and the current practice in the railway industry is their oil is they are changing up to even before 20 years, because why? In their maintenance department, they actually try to treat this transformer oil by using purification and filtration process. They have like a one special machine for it. So they invested quite a lot of money for that machine. But the thing is, still the occurrence of the problem, meaning the heat spike still happens, because that machine is actually to treat their electric properties, not the thermal properties. So with that, if I add on nanoparticles and I can enhance the thermal properties, indirectly it can actually prolong the lifespan. Of course, if doctor asks me, can you prove it can can go up to 30 to 40 years? For now, I don't have the data, because even the KLI Express itself, their operating years is not even reached 20 years. So I only got the oil, which actually the age of the oil is up to 17 to 18 years. But it's proven that the thermal properties, which is the thermal conductivity of the oil, has been increased. And at the same time, I don't disturb their dielectric properties, such as breakdown voltage and capitance. There is a side of difference whereby it's more to the improvement side. So the industry was actually pleased, and this actually theoretically it can show that not theoretically and also by analytical, we can actually replace the oil in the traction transformer with the oil that we actually formulated with the meaning transformer oil with the hybrid nanoparticles. Since we are using very minimal, I mean, of course, nanoparticles is not visible, but at the same time, we are not using a huge amount. So when we showed the sample to them, they are very pleased, because of course, in their naked eyes, they cannot see the presence of nanoparticles. And when we tested for the electrical properties, it doesn't disturb. So with this, it can actually prove that from 17 to 18 years, we can extend or prolong the lifespan, maybe more than 20 years, or up to, even they say, even if our research can prove that the lifespan can be extended another 5 years or 7 years or up to 10 years, they will be very happy. Not, they say no need to achieve until 40 years. Even from the existing, another 5 years or 10 years, they will be happy, because it can reduce their maintenance fee almost 50%.
Okay, Ganesh, thank you very much. Any questions?
Okay,
one more question.
Yes,
The simulation tools to do this testing that you said that can prolong the oil, transformer oil. Do you use simulation tools, or how do you do the testing actually?
Okay, doctor. Initially, what I did was, of course, I collected the oil and we do the formulation. There's a lot of try and error about the ratio of the hybrid nanoparticles, because I use nanoparticles A and B, so we have to know which ratio is the best. So what I stated in the video was 98, but unofficially, the total amount of samples is almost 180 samples. So there's a lot of try and errors. So with that, every sample, I tested the stability, the thermal conductivity, the breakdown voltage, the sedimentation level, and also the viscosity. And yeah, another thing is viscosity. The industry asked the viscosity, because they don't want that if I add more and more nanoparticles, the viscosity increases, that damages their system. So all this data actually presented to them, and I chose only 98 reliable test analysis. So when doctor asked, actually the simulation to prove it, to expand the the lifespan, is solely based on literature reviews for now. When the literature review suggested that, all the literature reviews suggested that addition of nanoparticles, when it can actually enhance the thermal properties and electric properties, at the same time obeys the viscosity standards, automatically the lifespan of the transformer oil will increase. Because even in literature survey review, they didn't state that if I add nanoparticles, it can go up to 40 years. But actually, we based on the parameters such as viscosity, density, thermal conductivity, specific heat, and also breakdown voltage. So if these nanoparticles, transformer oil with nanoparticles, obey these parameters, automatically it actually expands the lifespan. That's the understanding based on the literature review, doctor.
All right,
Thank you, doctor. Thank you very much, doctor.
you, Dennis.
Thank you, doctor, for the opportunity. Thank you very much.
Alright.
Next. Assalamualaikum. Umi Hazira. You can hear me?
Waalaikumsalam and good morning. I can hear you. You can hear my voice.
Yes, I can. So we start with your
Okay.
video presentation.
Ammonia is a compound of nitrogen and hydrogen in the formula of energy. At room temperature, ammonia is catalyzed in highly irritating gas with a puncture and silver into one. Ammonia is commonly used in the industry environments, including refrigeration system and food decomposition. When the ammonia released into the environment, it
Tak dengar lah, boleh tak bilang balik? Aku tak dapat. Boleh tangkap dari awal. Bilang balik.
Ammonia is a compound of nitrogen and hydrogen with the formula of energy. At room temperature, ammonia is catalyzed highly irritating gas with a puncture and silver into one. Ammonia is commonly used in the lighter chemical industry environment, including refrigeration system and food decomposition. When the ammonia released into the environment, it may lead to left radiation, and a small dose of ammonia inhalation can lead to acute poisoning. So besides that, many fatal accidents are reported every year due to ammonia spill. So for this reason, the attention is focused in the development of a novel fiber optic sensing system for detection of ammonia by using the Q-switch pulse as a laser source. So what is Q-switch pulse? Q-switch is a technique for obtaining energetic shock pulses by which a laser can be made to produce a pulse of signal. There are many types of Q-switch such as acoustic optic, electro-optic, mechanical optic, and passive Q-switches. In my PhD research, I am using passive Q-switch technique by centrifugal absorber, which in my research I am using indium tin oxide as a centrifugal absorber in order to modulate the intracavity losses inside the laser. The centrifugal absorber is fabricated by using DC magnetic sputnik, where the indium tin oxide is placed at the negative cathode to after undergo discharge condition. So this DC magnetic sputnik
the technique is used to be simple, easy, and able to produce high quality material. The indium phenoxide is deposited onto the set Golgi fiber to use as a centrifugal absorber and sensing device. So after obtaining the stable tissue mass, the maximum frequency is used as a reference frequency, and then the sensing of the ammonia solution is performed. The sensing can be observed through the shift of the water spectra and radio frequency signal from the optical spectral analyzer and oscilloscope respectively. The shifting of the wavelength and RF signal is due to the interaction between ammonia molecule and indium phenoxide, and is able to increase the average refractive index. The experiment is repeated several times by retest whether the RF frequency signal able to return to reference frequency. This is to ensure the sensing device can function as a sensor. Thus, it showed in the method of set cable coated with sensitive film of indium phenoxide can use as a centrifugal absorber as well as a sensor.
Okay, thank you, Nur Umi Hazira. Okay, so I will now open the Q&A session. Anyone?
A quick one, Umi, thank you for the presentation, the pre-recorded presentation. Just a question here. How does your technique, your new technique, compare to the existing ones in the market? Do you get a question?
Oh, yes. So our system is a very lightweight system, and then the sensitivity of my system in only a few seconds. So when we test the ammonia solution into the sensor device, so the value of RF will change from the reference frequency to the maximum frequency depends on the concentration of the ammonia solution when test through the sensor device.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
Umi, sorry. I just like to ask you, how many times I've done for the simulation or experiment just to make sure that your result is correct?
So I repeated the experiment more than 4 times to ensure that the value of the reference signal will return to the original value of the repetition rate.
Yeah.
So, okay, welcome.
Right, other questions? All right, thank you very much, Umi Hazira.
Okay, welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. So every time after presentation,
Michael, Nuriza.
Tak ada. Suara dia
Give me.
Okay, Waalaikumsalam.
Can you hear me?
Yes, clear.
We start your video presentation.
Dengue.
Have you ever felt like you are being targeted by mosquitoes when you end up with itchy rail all over your body? But your friend seems like they are not even aware of mosquitoes' existence. Should you be worried if you got bite by mosquitoes? More than that, they transmitted deadly disease across the globe, including dengue. The global incidence of dengue has grown in recent decades. About half of the world's population is now at risk. The number of dengue cases increased over 8-fold over the last 2 decades. There is no doubt dengue is having an active field. Globally, the largest number of dengue cases ever reported in 2019, including Malaysia. Most of the dengue cases reported in Malaysia were from urban areas and highly populated with rapid development activities which favors dengue transmissions. The world's Far East, Malaysia shows an increment about 182 deaths of the disease in year 2019 compared to 2018. From here, I felt that nobody should be affected by mosquito bites. I didn't try to describe the future, but I am trying to prevent it. Don't let the tiny things win. So I used these 3 years of my life to develop dengue model and carry out more focused lowest monitoring to central regions. Why central regions? For your information, dengue in Malaysia was predominantly confined to the densely populated and urbanized areas. Because of that, central region of Selangor, Wilayah Persekutuan Kuala Lumpur and Putrajaya recorded highest dengue cases. The changing climate and push towards urbanization is that more and more people will be exposed to the dengue fever. In addition, according to the UN, more than half of the global population live in the cities today. And by 2050, an estimated 2.5 billion people will join them. This trend is a perfect fit for dengue. Now, let me tell you how it works. A statistical model will be an important way to analyze the transmission of the disease, including dengue. I will develop and validate a dengue model for the district of central region over the periods. We call it as spatial temporal, since the data is collected based on both space and time, spatial, temporal, and up. This study can improve on early and accurate notification of dengue cases for disease prevention. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Nuriza. So we will now go to the Q&A session.
All right.
Hey, Isa, just a quick one. Well done. That's a very interesting presentation there.
Thank you.
How do you think your research outcome is going to impact the world health-wise in our fight against these little bugs? Thank you.
All right. The novelty actually of this study is a new approach to modeling framework with a data at the district level. And then we focus on the central region, which recorded the highest dengue cases. So we will focus on the region where recorded the highest cases. And also this model involve climate and environment factor. These 2 factors also together with the population factors may affect the dengue trend or dengue cases. Is model also clearly downscale to the district with highest dengue cases over a peak week throughout the year. So we will focus on these 2, spatial, temporal, space and time.
Okay, thank you.
All right, welcome.
Nuriza, I didn't quite get whether this model is actually an application or is it just kind of looking at, collecting data from the database on dengue cases from some database, and then you sort of project the cases and project like a kind of prevention or something like that. Can you explain a bit more?
Okay, this study is actually a collaboration with Ministry of Health Malaysia. So we got the data and we got the active research from there. Also, we got the data from Department of Environment and Med. And then we got the data from DOSM, Department of Statistics Malaysia. Some are paid and some are free data. So we do collaborate with them. And then starting by exploratory analysis of the dengue cases, we look at the trend by annually, monthly, and focusing in EPID week. Then we go for the exploratory analysis of dengue cases by clustering according to the district. Then we go further for the model from the basic model until the highest model. We go for the model evaluation, we do comparison, and then we do for predictions. We have not done the prediction yet, but we still in the progress.
It's not an application that where you can just extract the cases, automatically, something like that.
So, yeah. Or what actually the contribution of your research at the end? You predict what? The risk, or you want to decrease?
Right. Okay, actually, the main aim, we want to predict the next current dengue cases. So we try to look into the outbreak earlier. So we can, so we do the prediction, then we can do prevention earlier.
Prevention like what?
Like we will focus on that particular area that may have dengue outbreak. So we will collaborate with Ministry of Health so they can do their work. As my part is on the statistical analysis to see the dengue trend as a whole and other factors that may associate with. I predict and will inform them.
Okay, when you say predict, are you predicting, let's say somewhere in Raja we have the pattern, the trend is we have a lot of cases of dengue in Raja. So are you predicting that, or perhaps the dengue will next attack Senggarang? Is that how it works? When you say prediction,
next year, Raja, what time?
What is
the spatial?
the definition of prediction there? What do you mean by predict?
Sorry, I can hear, Doctor. Sorry.
What do you mean by you predict the next cases? Are you predicting the next location of the case?
Okay, I'm predicting the dengue incident rate. Okay, it's related to the dengue cases. So dengue incident rate ni, we calculate from the dengue cases to that specific area, and then we get the dengue incident rate. So we look at the dengue incident rate, either high, either low, or maybe they can control and so on.
Do you mean you will predict other location that has similar features with the historical data?
Yeah. For my study, we will focus on the central region. Central region, including Selangor, Putrajaya, and Kuala Lumpur. These three is the high cases lah. And then after we have done this one, so we can maybe extend this model to the Johor, maybe according to the district. So we can use this model for the dengue cases that recorded the highest.
Or certain time frame, is it?
Yes. My study actually previous study is more on annual, monthly, week, but my focus is more on EPID week. EPID week stands for epidemiological week. This is used by Ministry of Health.
So Iza, I just wonder, are you going to come up with any apps or software in the future with your...
Okay. Maybe soon. Maybe I will do collaborations because my part is on statistical model. I'm not too expert in the apps and so on. So I will go for the modeling first, then we will go further for your suggestions. Thank you.
Thank
you. All right. Thank you very much, Riza.
All right.
Thank you, Riza.
Thank you.
I think.
Oh, sini dia specified untuk science and technology je. So I think
As an example, Gohar, you can hear me? Right.
You can
hear?
Yes, ma'am. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
So I will start your video presentation.
Okay.
It's the same budget.
My research thesis topic is information extraction from diverse scientific sources. The amount of data generated daily is just mind-boggling. According to IBM, the global volume of data was 3.5 zettabyte in 2016. Predicted to reach 35 zettabyte in 2020, and expected that the number will hit 175 zettabyte in 2025. You know what 35 zettabyte would approximately 1 trillion hours worth of movies. It will take 115 million years to watch all those movies. So the information it challenges us with the effective presentation of the large volumes of information that the people must absorb in order to perform their jobs. Data presentation is a fairly obvious problem. Perhaps when the data is in question involve hundreds or thousands of numeric readings from which someone has to make a decision. There are thousands of research societies that contain millions of scientific documents. Out of total amount of global data, 80% is unstructured. So this overwhelming amount of data makes it difficult to locate, manipulate, retrieve, manage, and search the meaningful information. This increase in scientific content poses significant challenges for the researchers who want to determine the state of the art their respective field of interest. In order to address this problem, a whole domain in information extraction is dedicated for the extraction of potential information nuggets from data. By using these approaches of information extraction, it transforms an unstructured text into a set of facts. So this is a hierarchical architecture is present to extract the structural information from research article composed of 5 components. That is creation of ontology according to research rules to extract structural information, develop a fungible-based system to improve the performance and higher accuracy, checking of semantic similarity of our extracted data, and finally the best accurate data will be extracted, which will be further populated to database. Basically, this whole process can be described as an ETL process. ETL means extract information, transform it, and finally load into a digital library system. The advantages of this research are to produce a good research, to higher the quality of research, searching of document is easy, visibility of document is increases, citation rate increases, document publicate, and to evaluate to extract the relevant information. Our algorithm can facilitate both the indexing services and publisher society to find the new interesting research challenges and areas. More when digital library more will be indexed, our digital library will easily explore and put into any digital library system. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Gopal, for the presentation. Now we go to the Q&A session.
Welcome.
Right, Gohar, thank you for your recorded presentation there. It's interesting stuff. And just a simple question. How do you think your research output is going to help students like you, research students like you in their study?
Basically, when if we take the any field such as social media, research articles, news, emails, or medical domain, the volume and development of literature in this field is increasing in such a way that it becomes difficult to locate, manipulate, retrieve the information, and search the reported information. So so this knowledge is basically essential for checking, validating, and enriching the new research. There are thousands of research society like IEEE, ACM, and a lot of that publish documents tremendous way. IEEE published 2 million, IEEE have 2 million documents in their database. ICM have 4 million documents. So, so due to massive volume and varying diverse document format and layout and styles, search engines and index services face difficulties to index such document, thus makes the retrieval information inefficient and time consuming. So this increase in scientific content poses the significant challenges for the researchers to in their if they determine the state of the art in the respective field of interest. So my thesis importance is that any researcher can find need the state of the state-of-the-art, updated, and more relevant information according in their respective field of research.
So, Gohar, at the end of your research, actually, what is your contribution? Is it just ontology or there's an online application?
No, basically, from the brief literature, most of the work done is dedicated on the extraction of the metadata just, or someone extracted on the references. But my approach can extract the comprehensive paper structure of the research article. So the previous techniques can be limited to a specific conference or a specific journal. But but my algorithm is not specific. It is for all kind of journals. I experiment on thousands of journals, IEEE, ACM, Springer, a lot of other journals. And so the output of even our own university and other Malaysian university can get help from my research by making the most advanced digital library system for the thousands of research publications. And this and with the help of the digital library system, more well indexed in the indexing services like Scopus, Web of Science, and other indexing services. So the students of the university, their publication will be more publicate, and the citation rate will be increased.
Okay, so basically it's like a search engine. Is that what you're saying? Is it a search engine that you are producing?
Basically, search engine like Google Scholar performs information retrieval based on the already indexed or discover content that is available on the web. But my work is how to produce extract the relevant information that will help the search engines. Basic information extraction can extract by the help of the approaches of the information extraction, one can extract the unstructured text can extract the sets of facts from the unstructured text, sets of facts.
So it's like how you're going to extract that? Is it the system that you're producing? Is it a system? Are you producing a system or
Yes, I'm producing a framework with the unique technique of ontology, a fuzzy rule-based system, and words and disambiguation. Ontology, we need a boundary to extract the information, and with the help of the rules and fuzzy rule-based regular expression, we can extract the structural information. After that, the most important module, I apply the sentence similarity on my extracted data. What is sentence similarity? Basically, if I give you example, a quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. But if my algorithm can extract the wrong sequence of sentence, a quick brown jumps dog over, so my algorithm will apply on this extracted sentence, and it will correct the order of the sentence, and it will automatically correct the spelling and check the semantic neighborship of all the words, and finally it will give you the best extracted data or the best line.
okay, so basically this will be connected or attached or embedded in say Google Scholar or Scopus or any other search engine that can use this framework to
exactly.
Exactly. Any other question?
Just wonder, is there any platform or programming that you use for this kind of system?
Yes, sir. So for ontology, we use the Proteus software, and the regular expression we use C#, and the fuzzy rule-based system we can apply in MATLAB, and the sentence similarity we apply in Python. So for different languages, and then we incorporate in a single framework. So this is a hierarchical structure: first ontology, then rules, then fuzzy regular expression, then fuzzy rule-based system, then word sentence ambiguity, and finally the best extracted data will be put in an advanced digital library system.
Okay. Thank you.
Right. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Gohar.
Yes, Michael, good morning. Hello.
Waalaikumsalam.
Waalaikumsalam.
You did brief them what the Okay, maybe you can start first.
Assalamualaikum and good morning, right? So good morning to all of you. Thank you to all judges and contestants. So we proceed with a comment session with our judges. So head of judges, we start the comment for your presentation.
Okay, everybody, thank you very much for your presentation. First of all, congratulations for your presentation. It's not easy to do this presentation. It's not easy to explain your research, which could take you many years to complete. So hopefully you will complete within 3 years, or 1.5 years for master. And it's not easy to put that within 3 minutes to make people to understand. But I have a few comments based on our discussions for you to take note on for next presentation of our teacher. First of all, in terms of introduction. Okay, so in terms of introduction, you need to have that impactful introduction to get the audience attention. So if it's not that impactful, then the audience may not pay too much attention to what you're presenting. They may not think that it's interesting. All right, so you might want to think about the impact of your introduction, like Dr. Chan has mentioned to Nurul Zakia earlier, how you can put in stories, because the trend now is just to put some stories to relate to your research. If it is appropriate. If it's not, then don't try to put in that kind of story. To give that impact just because of the country. So okay. All right. The other thing is about jargon. Now you're presenting this 3-minute thesis to people from various fields. All right. So you want people to know what your research is, not only to the audience where relates to your field. For example, if you're talking, your research is in terms of engineering, you're not presenting this just to engineering people. You are also presenting this to people from social science, people from technology, people from maybe humanities, Islamic background, but they want to know about your research. So you need to make sure that people, layman people, or ordinary people can understand your research. So you need to avoid using jargons. Jargons means that only the term specifically known by people in that field. All right. Then about your slides, some of you produce slides which are quite small to read. It's difficult to look at the content of the slide. All right. So when you're presenting, you want people to know, to see the slide. All right. And from the slide itself, they can have the main idea of what your research is about, or what your presentation is about. So you need to think about how you want to, what you want to show, and how you're going to produce that slide. So it is advisable that you use infographic instead of wordings. All right, more infographic and a few words here and there, just to link the idea in the slide. And then in terms of your presentation, first of all, enunciation. Enunciation here means it's not more about pronunciation. It's about how you produce the sound, the words that come up from your mouth. If you say something like projection, so people should hear the word projection, not like projection. Okay, maybe pronunciation is correct, but your enunciation itself is not clear. Don't mumble. You have to throw out. You watch, like shows, like singing shows, competitions. How they talk about throw out your voice. Okay, so make sure people can hear what you are saying, and don't rush. Don't rush. You need to make sure that the 3 minutes is used to present your research, the important points in your research, but you need to make sure that you take proper you present it in proper intonation. There are pauses somewhere. There needs to be a full stop somewhere, and sometimes you will go fast, sometimes you will go slow in terms of how or what you're presenting at that time. And in terms of Q&A, answering or responding to the questions by the judges, you need to be sure that your response is directly addressing the question. Then the elaboration will come later. All right. Make sure you address the questions. If I ask you, what is this about? You tell me what it is about, not how you did this or where you get this from. That means you're not addressing the question. So you need to make sure that even for your viva, if the examiners ask you questions, you need to make sure that your response should address the question, not elaborating things that are not related. Okay, so I hope these comments will give you more information about how you can improve your presentations in future, perhaps in the future 3MT, or even if not about 3MT, it's about your viva as well, how you are able to present your viva, research during your viva. So make sure that all these things need to be considered for your presentation. Yeah. All right. So other judges, do you have anything else to add in? No.
I think Dr. Mimi has summarized it very well. That is our comments. Because we had the deliberation over your performance, the record performance, and so your Q&A session. So whatever Dr. Mee has shared with you earlier on is our unanimous views actually, and the upcoming results are our collective agreed upon results. All right, but whatever the outcome is, my dear students, you all did very well. We as the juries, we are very, we find very fun and interesting to be learning new things from you. Right, so keep up the good work. All your research is good, right? All the research is good. The 3MD is about promoting your work in a way that people who are not in your field, not in your area of expertise, could also share the enthusiasm, can also share the benefits coming out of it. So that's the whole point of it, right? So all the best.
I got 1, 2, 3 words for you all. Congratulations, everybody. Whatever the result is, you did the best what you did. And there's a room for improvement for next time. So remember that. There's nothing wrong with your research. Everyone is very good in this research. But how you present it to other people is very important. All right? Thank you so much.
Right. For me, I just like congrats on you. You have done your best, right? Hopefully take note of all the comments and hopefully can improve in the future. Probably you can attend, compete with in another 3 minutes thesis competition held by the organization, or probably can enter the innovation competition, because I can see some of you guys have got your product, right? So probably you need to extend a little bit and compete in any innovation competition. Once again, congratulations everyone. I wish you all the best. Yeah.
All right, thank you to all the judges. So now we are going into the results. I'm going to announce the results. Shall we announce the third place first?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. All right, so the third place goes to no sound effect. Sound effect. All right, the third place goes to Nur Iza Jamil. Okay. Second place goes to Nurul Zakia Zamri Tan. And the first place goes to Rabiatul Adawiyah Zayadi. So congratulations to all the winners, to those who did not get any place. Again, it's not that you're not good, it's your research is good. You can make some more improvements for future CMPs. All right. So with that, thank you very much and congratulations to all the winners.
Thank you for all judges and participants. We will meet again at 2:30 p.m. for the prize giving ceremony. So congrats to Rabiatul Adawiyah. So
Thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
okay, you finish busy. So now, thank you.
Yeah.
Online.